Hey, what's going on? Today we have a real life testimonial of what is possible with e-commerce. Today we have Carlos. He is going to share his story and what he kind of learned, just jumping into our community and whatnot. So Carlos, he's going to share his story. He's been a part of the journey for quite some time. I'm going to fire him away some questions, but most importantly, you are going to learn what is truly possible inside of e-commerce. So it's good, Carlos. Welcome in. And
what's up, man? Thanks for having me here.
Excited to hear more about it.
Yeah, excited, man. Been doing ecom for a bit now with you now, I've been studying under you, and I've been I was working at 9 to 5. I was working at a dealership, hated it. I'm finally glad that I was able to leave it and finally do everything full time. And now I'm doing consistently like $50K a month. I'm doing it full time. I'm basically living my dream. I didn't know it was gonna be possible when I first started, but
So when did you start your journey? Kind of break it down to what made you get into e-commerce, why you got into e-commerce, and kind of just start from the beginning and then we'll build the way up.
So it started all the way back in 2020, and that's kind of when I started to learn about it, and I knew that it was possible. And then 2021 is kind of when I realized I wanted to be I wanted freedom. I wanted financial freedom. So I knew e-commerce was going to be like that stepping stone to get into that, right? So I started doing that 2021. That's when I started working at a dealership, and I was dealing with it during COVID, all that, and it was good money at the time too. But I knew there was something more. I knew I could do something way more, and I knew that e-commerce was like that stepping stone for me. So 2021, 2022, I was doing okay. I was a beginner. I didn't know shit, nothing like that. But 2023, I kind of started to see a little bit more progress, especially during like Q4. Started doing a little bit more. I did my first $10,000 a month in 2023, and then the momentum just started going from there. 2024, I cracked my first $100,000 a month.
Wow.
And then I did my first $250,000 revenue year that year as well. And then earlier this year, I cracked my first, again, another $100,000 a month. I'm like, this is it. I gotta either go full time on this, or I'm never gonna see it happen. So I left my dealership. I'm like, you know what, guys, this is it. I'm gonna do something great. I'm gonna take a shot at myself, and that was honestly the best risk that I could have taken.
So I guess during that time period, there's a lot of different business models.
Yeah.
There's trading, affiliate marketing. There's a ton of different business models. What made you choose e-commerce, and why did you go full port into e-commerce?
I tried trading. It was cool, but I just didn't want to sit in front of look at a graph, and could have done that. I could have done crypto. You're right. There's a bunch of things I thought, but I think for me, I wanted something that I can call myself mine. I knew that if I could create something into a brand and say this is my product, I have a brand, kind of like what you do with yourselves and your brands. That feels more fulfilling than me doing a trade and making a couple $1,000s a day. I knew that the possibility of making a couple $1 million a day that's possible with e-commerce.
Mm-hmm.
Doing a couple $100,000 that seems way more fulfilling than doing a quick swing trade online with crypto and making a quick $500.
And then the next day you might lose $2,000
exactly.
or whatnot. Yeah, that's cool. So when you started the journey, what was your biggest bump in the road that kind of stopped you in going forward, and kind of, in 2020, 2021, what was the stop to your progress to what you've seen in 2023, 2024 going forward?
I think truthfully, I wasn't fully committed. 2020, 2021, I was kind of half in, half out. But then I realized hey, I'm not getting the results. Something's got to change. So that's kind of 2022. I started to do it every day, not once or twice a week. And then when I kind of changed that, that's when I started to see a little bit more consistency. But the biggest thing was learning product research, product selection, actually learning how to do product, find a product and do all that. And then just kind of how to market it too. That's been the biggest the biggest thing I had to overcome and figure that out. Think of
for sure.
Think of a marketer, not just find a product on AliExpress and upload it to Facebook. It's a lot deeper than that.
For sure.
And when I started to make that change, started to kind of really learn how to develop the skill instead of just throw my money at something, that's when I started to see the results.
So how much time were you putting in 2021 per day versus 2023 when you started seeing some success? Like, what was your time you put into like building your brand, building something up in 2021?
2021, maybe like 2 hours a day.
2 hours a day. What about 2023?
I was doing like 5-6 hours a day.
5-6 hours a day. Yeah. So I feel like that direct correlation is where you really are gonna see a lot of success. Beginners will come into e-commerce. They'll start, getting excited throughout the journey, and then 2 weeks go by, and their excitement goes away, and the journey kind of stops.
Yeah.
So very proud that you kind of like push through, kept throughout the journey, and so yeah, I guess what would be since you are seeing some success, since you are kind of seeing the momentum roll, snowballs kind of starting to build up. What is your goals moving forward, and most importantly, what are you gonna do to reach those goals?
It just takes more dedication. I mean, my goal is to like actually absolutely like live out a Q4, kind of like how everyone else does, like that does like millions of dollars in Q4. That's my goal this year. But it's gonna take a lot more effort. Like if I was only doing like 5-6 hours in 2023, now doing it full time, I got 50 hours back a week in my life, not having to have to work. So I can just put in the same effort. I realized if I put in the same amount of hours that I did at the dealership, that I can like grow way, way faster with e-commerce. So that's what I gotta do. That's what I gotta take. Maybe even a couple more hours. I gotta take more dedication, like learn more, develop my skills more, and that's the only way I'm gonna get there to what I want to achieve.
For sure. And then, so when it comes to your own product selection, because everyone's different. Some people sell clothes, some people sell jewelry, some people sell beauty products. It doesn't matter. But for your own self, you don't have to reveal niche products or anything. What really stuck out when you're finding winning products now? What is that one key factor that you're looking for a winning product?
I think for me, the biggest thing was like, first of all, like don't look at like when you're scrolling at AliExpress, there's gonna be a lot of trash. But
for sure,
instead of like thinking it like that, like switch the mindset. Okay, there's a lot of trash, so it should be easy to find the good stuff then, right? Not that everything's trash. So you should be able to find the stuff a lot easier. But the other thing that I think like helped me a lot was like, if I like the product myself for myself, then there's a big chance that someone else is gonna like it too.
For sure.
And if I can relate to the product more, the product that got me to my first $100,000 a month was a product that I wanted for myself.
There you go.
Instead of just finding it and selling it to someone that I don't know about. Because it made it easier for me because I was my own customer. So it made it a lot easier. So if I just started to look for products that I kind of wanted for myself and just position it to the market that way. And it made it a lot easier for me.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to picking products, bringing them to market, if you pick a product that you understand, it's going to be a lot easier to kind of understand who's going to be buying the product, how to market that product to the customer, all that good stuff. So when you find that product, when you go into marketing, are you kind of like already knowing who your consumer is going to be when you start marketing, or are you just throwing ads out there? What have you learned in the past years that has really worked on the marketing side?
So like you said, instead of just throwing it out there and like, that's how I was wasting more money. When I started to shift, like, who could I sell it to? Like who's my customer? Who if I can picture someone in my head like who's using like that, it makes it easier to kind of relate to them more. Because that's who I'm calling out. Like if I can find like that specific customer, those are going to be the one that are going to convert. Instead of me just throwing up like a random like piece of text on a random product and hoping it's going to do well, if I can visualize my customer, like if I knew I was my own customer, like how would I want the product to like either do something for me, or how do I want it to like how would I want it to be? How do I want it to be different from everything else that I'm seeing? Like for example, like the first product I did was just it was a pair of pants, but it was a unique kind of pair of pants for men and like a certain types of men's clothing, right? Something like that I like. So I knew that it was easier to market it towards them,
right?
Towards like I guess myself than just basically everybody else.
And so when you started seeing sales, kind of like you were working at that time, what part of the journey where you were like, all right, I need to quit working, I need to go full time with e-commerce, and like, why did you end up taking that risk? I know you talked a little bit about it, previously, but like, first things first, at what point were you like, all right, let's take the leap, let's do it, let's go full in, and secondly, what made you and why?
Well, I mean, I knew like And I've always wanted to leave, like just do this full time.
So that was always your goal. You were
always my
always
goal.
just working to kind of support your dreams
Right.
at the end of the day.
It was always the goal to like have to leave the dealership to do this full time, but it took time to get there and took a lot of work. But I knew like if I took the risk, like it's either I take the risk and it goes well, or if it doesn't go well, I could just go back. So I'm not really losing anything. And then the other thing that I kind of like started realizing, like, if I'm working at a dealership, I'm working for a commission, so I'm basically working for my money, like no different than me working for e-commerce and making my own money.
Yeah.
So it's like the biggest mind shift for me, and like this doesn't relate to everybody because a lot of people are gonna have a salary, but if you're in a commission job, like it's your job to make money. So if I can just take the same time and effort that I would have put in to try and sell a car to a customer and waste my energy, and I could just do that for my own e-commerce business. And when I started to see a little bit of momentum, I'm like, you know what, like it's either now or never. Like if I want this, like I gotta do it now. I can't keep waiting. Can't be, because I figured like if I wanted to make $1 million in 1 month in e-commerce, I wasn't gonna get there working 2 hours like every single day after working 12 hours at a dealership. I knew that it was gonna take a lot more hours, so I just took the shot on myself. If I had as long as I had something going, I can build the momentum, and I can just kind of take it from there and like grow it.
So how much money were you making like at the dealership compared to like when you were like, all right, I'm done, I'm out of here? Were you making profit when you were like, let's get out of here? Like, so if a beginner's watching this, would you suggest them to, I guess, at what point would you suggest them to go all in with e-commerce if they are supporting e-commerce with the full-time job?
So like that's a big thing that I had to think about too, was like, okay, at a dealership, if I sell a car, the bare minimum I'm gonna make is $95, right? And if I could make like $500. Like I think the most I've ever made was like $4,000 on one car.
On one sale.
But that was during COVID,
Yeah.
so that's kind of hard to do now. But you could still do like 2,000, but it's a little bit more rare.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured that like, as long as I can consistently make a bare minimum of like $200 a day, then I'm gonna be making the same money that I would have at the dealership. So it makes no difference. So that's kind of where like my threshold was. Like if I can consistently figure out how to make like a bare minimum of like even $100, then I'm making just around the same that I was at a dealership. Now for everybody else, it's gonna be different.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like for me, like I had a lot more responsibilities, and I have rent, I have a car payment, I have everything. So like the pressure was on, but it's just a big risk no matter what. And I have always thought about it. If I was still living with my parents, I could have done the same thing because I could have relied on them. I had a place to eat, stuff like that. But I don't think I would have ever had the pressure on me knowing I have bills to pay for myself.
For sure.
Versus like me living at home.
Yeah, no, that's a good point because, I mean, a lot of like entrepreneurs, I always suggest move, get away from your hometown, get away from comfort, because that pressure is going to, push you to work harder, push you to put more time in. Like literally, you're a male, us males, we understand like if we don't do it ourselves, no one's doing it for us. So kind of like, having that pressure, and like if you're a beginner right now, you have that pressure, you have like that fresh momentum. You just need to use that momentum, use that pressure to really get started, really just pursue the journey. So I guess what has been your most exciting part of the journey so far, and what are you looking forward to?
Honestly, I think like the best part of the journey like so far has been like being able to leave like my 9 to 5. Like I'm truly like living like the prayers I've been praying, and like the blessings that I have, like I'm living them right now. So like every time like I feel like I'm having a bad day, I can just take a step back and realize like, hey, I'm living the prayer that I wanted. Like I'm living like my dream to do e-commerce. So like when you kind of change that mindset, like you start feeling that you're constantly winning, and like you're gonna keep winning. Like it's easy to win when you're winning, right? The only hard part is like to try and win when you feel like you're losing. That's the other thing. But like the best part has been able to like just say that I'm doing what I want to do. Like I'm my own boss now. Like I still wake up to this day feeling like I have to go to work though. Yeah. And it's been like already a couple months now. I still feel like I have a boss to report to, but at the end of the day, like the best part of the journey has been this. But I think sometimes I do miss like I feel like I do miss like the grind of it, like having something to like work to. But it's just at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because I just make a better goal, bigger goal that I can work to.
Yeah, well, with entrepreneurship, no one's gonna hold your hand. No one's gonna make you do this or that. So, having to feel like you have to go to the job, in my opinion, it's not a bad thing because you wake up, you're ready with some fire under your ass, and you're ready to go. So, we're gonna wrap this up. But the final thing I want to ask you is like, have you ever took other courses? And if you have, what like not you don't have to tell your full experience, but what was the difference? Why'd you get success in our community?
So I'll be honest with you, when I was like 2020, 2023, 2020, yeah, even 2024, I feel like the biggest thing that beginners are going to struggle with is that you feel like the course that you're in is not giving you the answer that you're looking for, but the difference is like the other courses you're going to have, like they're going to teach you, like every other course is going to teach you basically almost kind of the same thing but in different wording, and it's just going to confuse you more.
Right.
As long as you can, if the one recommendation I have is like stick with one course, and stick with one community, like the one that you have. Like I feel like you've explained everything like the best versus everyone else, but no one else has the same support group. It's about having the support, having like the ability to have someone to like bring the questions to that you need answers for, and like I promise you, like if you feel like the course, like another course is gonna have another answer, it's not gonna have it.
Right. No,
you're just gonna waste your money. You're gonna keep wasting more time. The answer that you're looking for is in the work that you're avoiding, and that's what it is.
Hey, that's a mic drop.
Yeah, it's just you gotta keep doing the work because like the answers are gonna come.
For sure.
Like no one has a direct answer. There's no secret key. There's no magic like thing to unlock. There's nothing like that anyone's hiding from you. It's just doing the work and keep doing it until you have like the results. The results are gonna come, but I think the biggest thing that people are expecting is that they think that it's easy to do e-commerce. It's not. It's
sure.
Absolutely not easy to do it. But as long as if you're consistently doing it, then you can absolutely make the money.
Oh yeah.
But no one's gonna come out like ripping $100,000 a month in their first month, and I think that's where a lot of people start to quit. But
hey, I've seen it, but yeah, there's a low chance of that happening, especially if
it's very rare.
they're going. Yeah, it's rare. I've seen it happen, but it is rare.
It's very rare. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, like I said, like the answer you're looking for is in the work that you're trying to avoid, and like you avoiding it is just gonna just trying to get you into another course and feel like they might have an answer there, but it's just not.
That's a way to wrap it up. Well, this is Carlos. This is a real life example of what is possible when you just get started with e-commerce, when you join the right community, get the right support. So hey, Carlos, he's a 6-figure earner on his way to 7 figures, and this year he's gonna do it. Hey man,
8 figures next year.
8 year. Hey, dream big, keep going. Wrap this up.